Welcome to the exciting rebirth of Superstar, featuring choose your membership rate as low as just $3 a month. At Superstar, you get expanded, exclusive video scopes each and every week, unlimited access to special horoscopes, class passes for Synchronicity University, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. Hello, fabulous superstar Cancer. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of February 2023. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological month, without a doubt. Big moves happening in the sky now. It is going to be on the 5th of the month that we will have this month's full moon. Now, this full moon takes place in a financial part of your sky. On the one hand, having to do with money you earn and money that you spend. And so many Cancerians out there may find themselves focusing more on financial matters now. But this part of the sky also has to do with healthy self-love, healthy self-esteem, the possessions that you have and the possessions that you take on and release as well. And so this may not necessarily play out in terms of the money you're earning and the money that you're spending, but that is one possibility here. And so I'm going to start there because full moons tend to bring with them a sense of truth, a truth of what you really feel in that area of life and what you're really wanting. They also bring about change, completion, culmination, if you will. And so it is possible now that you are looking more deeply at your finances, how it is that you're earning your money, and where it is, if you've been aligned with pathways that don't feel like they work for you, well, that realization could come on really quickly now. And the reason I say this is because we have some interesting celestial conversations happening with this full moon. We do have a beautiful alignment between the full moon and Mars. So this energy I absolutely love. It is empowering and it represents for you a wellspring of power within you coming forward now. It could be a factor you just hadn't considered coming forward now that ends up being a deciding factor in some way in your understanding of what's worth doing for money and what isn't. Also possible, considering that we have a harmonious alignment between Jupiter and this full moon, well, it can feel like the changes that are happening now in some way remind you to tap into a spirit of hope and may bring with them a sense of what could be possible for you. However, we have another energy playing out as well, and that is what astrologers call a square to Uranus. Now, this becomes a true wild card factor. The developments that happen now, the realizations that happen now, can feel like they come out of nowhere. And so whether it is the actions of others, whether it is events, or whether it's more realizations within yourself, it can feel like there's an element here of surprise that sometimes might have people feel like they're scrambling a little bit. And I'm so sorry to say, sometimes that's not necessarily comfortable. However, it is part of aligning you with prosperity that is more meaningful to you. Remember, when we have such strong financial energy, it means that the money you need is there. Sometimes the universe will use your finances as a vehicle towards which to learn spiritual lessons. I know that's not necessarily a comfortable vehicle, but it can be valuable nonetheless. But when the universe presents spiritual lessons through the vehicle of finances, again, it means that the money you need is there. It's just the effort and staying focused on what you're learning about yourself that can help you navigate this time with that much more ease. Now, the other layer of this is expenses. Like I said, it's money you earn, but also money that you spend as well. There could be an expense that pops up at this time, but remember, with all the empowering energy playing out here, it does look like you're able to understand how to use this moment, whatever needs to be met, you're able to do it and excel through this journey and through this process as well. Possessions take on greater importance now, whether it is that you suddenly realize there are things that you no longer need and you can release, or whether it is that there are things that you've been hoping to acquire and now you get the opportunity to do that, perhaps very quickly. There is some focus that could be playing out there. And of course, as I said, self-love, self-esteem can come into focus. Many Cancerians are only going to experience this energy in that regard. And if that's the case, well, you'll be able to look at what it is that you feel and believe about you, and you'll be able to, in some very spontaneous moments, demonstrate tremendous self-love. I think the opportunity comes up out of nowhere, but the realization of how you're able to be in a space of self-value can change so much for you navigating forward from here. It will be on the 20th of the month that we will have this month's new moon. This new moon takes place in fellow water sign Pisces, and there's some interesting things happening here with this new moon. It is making a harmonious connection with the nodes, which is wonderful. It does suggest that as events are taking place, you're able to connect them to spiritual lessons and spiritual learning that much more easily. However, there's something else to consider here, and that is that we don't have big planets making major connections with this new moon, which does suggest that whatever new possibilities, new opportunities show up now, they may be in a space of truly representing a very beginning. Now, for you, this is playing out in a part of the sky that has to do with understanding your place in the world. Long distance travel, immigration, citizenship, higher learning is covered here, legal matters as well as having an understanding of the philosophies or beliefs that guide your life, whether they're spiritual beliefs or political beliefs at that. And so new world views could present themselves to you, but it seems that chances are it looks interesting. It doesn't necessarily look like it takes over as a passion, but yes, new ideas, new thoughts, new perspectives can be something that really helps you to understand the direction in which you're going in terms of your learning and understanding of the world around you. More literally, though, it could be now that you start considering maybe being in another location. Perhaps there's relocation as a possibility where it comes to a job, for example. And then that becomes a consideration. Perhaps you're considering where to be, or there's a place that you know you will be. Or even if you do get a chance to travel, it does represent the very first step in a journey that could end up being much more consequential in the fullness of time. If you do get to travel, well, some of your experiences there could end up being part of awakening and appreciation of the journey that your soul is taking at this time as well. The other layer of understanding here, because higher education, legal matters are covered here, if you've thought about pursuing those as pathways forward towards new experiences, well, it could be now that you start to investigate what it is that could be possible for you. Regardless, though, personal or literal, this new moon does suggest that there's new inspirations now that could lead to new opportunities, especially if you follow through on those inspirations with action. Now, where it comes to matters of love, Venus will spend the first 20 days in this same worldly part of your sky. However, it is just before Venus leaves this part of the sky that she will make a beautiful alignment with Pluto. And I have to say, I love this moment for you. It is Pluto in your opposite sign at that. I have been saying to you that Venus in this part of the sky does represent love taking on an international energy to it. But that seems to peak right around its connection with Pluto, where you're able to understand the best steps and best ways forward for you in the context of love. Once Venus changes signs, it becomes a lot more about your understanding of what you deserve in a higher sense in the context of love. And what also tends to happen is people start to focus more on respect and love being intimately tied in some way. So for those of you open to meeting someone new, I love that energy right around the 19th of the month when Venus aligns with Pluto. It represents a truly sultry day in love for you. I feel like this is really where you're seeing a world of possibilities open up for you. But once Venus does change signs on the 20th, you start looking at your experiences, not just present, but past as well. and consider where it is that perhaps you lowered some standards that ultimately ended up being really important to you, where you put up with situations that maybe were below what it is that you deserved for a variety of different reasons. And now, as you're becoming aware more of where you've been, you're also able to focus that much more on an understanding of where you're going towards relationships that are much more empowered, navigating forward from here. For those of you just starting to date somebody, well, look, I do love the very adventurous energy in the first part of the month. That seems to culminate right around the 19th with Venus connecting with Pluto. And so that does tend to suggest a moment where you're seeing possibility with this person. Now, if this is somebody that you really are just getting to know, well, this mid-month moment could also represent connecting with someone new who does represent opening up the world to you, or perhaps a world of adventure in some way. For all that, though, once it is that Venus changes signs, you're asking yourself much more consequential questions as to whether or not you're heading in the same direction with this person. If you are, well, this is where it starts to feel more and more like you want to continue to navigate onward and forward with them. But if it feels as if they are on a very different journey, your goals are very different than theirs, well, this tends to represent a turning point where you start to consider what going in a different direction could be for you. And for those of you in an established bond, what a remarkable time this can be. In the context of established bonds, this is one of those moments that can feel as if you're able to truly look at all it is that the two of you have yet to experience in this lifetime together. And there's a sense of connection and understanding that fuels a higher perspective of your relationship, especially right around the 19th. Once Venus changes signs, though, it becomes a lot more about the goals that you have together, the shared perspectives that you have, and what it is that the two of you hope to continue to move towards and achieve together as a strong unit. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It's a valuable and meaningful astrological time. I'm going to say the new moon for you because that new moon is happening in your element, in fellow water sign Pisces. And it is a spirit of adventure that could find you now. It may be a deeply personal thing as it begins, but make no mistake, a seed is being planted that in its own way opens up the world for you going forward from here. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month. Would choose your membership rate at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Links are in the description below. Thank you again for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.